What? We're recording? Sorry, I'm dreaming of the Stadium Super Trucks on VR because they are here! This video is dedicated to the memory of the extraordinary singer Angie Stone, gone too soon. Angie, thanks for your art. Greetings Romy, you're watching Rom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. While two big news grab our attention today, the new iRacing season and the Stadium Super Trucks at last, you'll notice the Automobilista 2 news being lighter than normal as they are gearing up for new content, leaving days chock full of complex physics updates and explanations behind. And as always, we also have a bunch of smaller news, because as always, we collect whatever is worth news in sim racing. You're welcome. iRacing's second season of the year is upon us, as besides new races, it brings other updates as always. This is what you can expect to land to iRacing Tuesday 18th. Starting with this season, new Arkham and Art cars will be at your disposal for oval racing. Chevrolet SS, Ford Mustang and Toyota Camry. The Legends 434 Coupe cars got a better graphics model as well as enhanced physics, and they can now be driven on rink conditions. A further ton and a half of cars got updates and bug fixes as well as what they call aerodynamic damage penalties. After they messed up the tire physics royally, the developers at iRacing went back to the drawing board and did a deep dive into the physics. They are going to release completely revised physics with the update and hopefully get it right this time. Which begs the question of why they did mess it up on the first try, but hey, at least they corrected their error and that is laudable. They warn the corrected tire model makes it more difficult to keep the car stable, especially on cold tires, so expect a lot of whining around with people saying that it's now so hard to drive. No Sherlock, that's why professional race drivers get a lot of money, because they have mastered something that is incredibly hard. iRacing's developers will now work on correcting and enhancing the hybrid system, which I'm sure is even more complex than the tire physics. They expect to have that ready for Season 3. Keeping with content but moving to tracks, the great track of Portland will see the light of day with a new season. They also released graphic updates to the tracks you can see on the screen. If we understood them correctly, 3D curbs will be added to Jerez, Aragon, Sandown, VIR, Winton, Rotskogen and Hockenheim. Moving on, debris and its, let's call it deployment, will now be more accurate, and iRacing will introduce local debris cautions to the roster of warnings. For now, they will only inform you and have no further consequences. Those are planned at some point in the future. While they don't have a solution for drivers with connection troubles, nor will they ever, as they mostly are out of their control, they will drop those back to pits if the software considers the stability of their connection to be lacking, giving other drivers a respite. While I can imagine the frustration if you find yourself in pits in the middle of a race, at the end of the day this benefits the racing, as unreliable connections, as we all know, are the bane of any multiplayer racing. If you're part of a team and in a race with driver swaps, the team can swap the driver to somebody who has a better connection so the team can rejoin the race. Good thinking by the devs. And at the moment, this will only be active in certain official series. While iRacing may expand the application in the future, for now they are testing and learning. As we already said, iRacing will now bring adaptive AI, which will adapt to your driving within some specific range, depending on how difficult you want the AI to make your race. Interesting. This goes a bit beyond what, for example, Race Room has. Also, further tracks and cars are now AI supported, and there are also further tracks where the AI can race in damp or wet conditions. The 360Hz mode is now active and supported for VRS wheels. The lighting model has been improved, offering better light, reflections, and I'd expect more realism. The sun is now its own object with all the specific calculations of its light, including time of day and weather conditions. The iRacing folks also speak a bit about what they have in place for the future, as they have developed a complete new graphics engine, which iRacing clearly was needing for a while. And they continue work on a career mode, which will at first be based on AI championships. Some previews of new or updated cars and tracks conclude the extensive list of updates iRacing has planned for the future. And I would like to commend whoever writes the release notes for their humor. In me, you'll find at least one person in the whole wild world who reads, understands, and chuckles at your notes. Congratulations to the Cadillac Formula 1 team who will join the roster in 2026, even if their announcement trailer looks like some cheap thing put together in an Amiga 2000. I hope that means they are saving the big bucks for the development of their car. And yes, this is the Andretti team, with Andretti removed from the equation because some morons in the F1 circus have whatever kind of problem with him. BeamNG is warning their users that they will not support Microsoft systems under Windows 10 or Ubuntu systems under 22.04 and recommending an upgrade of your operating system if you are still using lower versions. Rennsport added a hotfix to the release they did last week. See the link up there. Thing is, they tell us they have fixed exactly 2 bugs, then deliver a list of known issues, which of course are still unresolved, that is twice as long or more than the update list. Well, okay then. We already supposed so after seeing the still images, but now it's official. Project Motorsports have announced they will add MoSport to the sim. Yeah, no, that's it. Fancy your own very special driving wheel? We already talked to iRacing about this at the Sim Racing Expo, see the link up there, but now they have put it online. From now on, you will be able to customize your iRacing wheel in some specific ways to make it your own. If you like what you see, how about supporting us? A like and a comment to tell the almighty algorithm we are worth watching are a good start. Subscribing is even better, and what really helps us grow is you becoming a patron, as YouTube's income is tiny for us sim racing channels. Patrons get access to exclusive content and are involved in our decision. Help us grow with your support, help us keep spreading the joy of sim racing. Become a patron today. They're here! As we already said before, Automobilista 2 at last will get the Stadium Super Tracks as part of the content. Well, excuse me, it's gonna be the Super Trophy Trucks, but we all know what they are. They are arriving to the sim within the Adrenaline Part 2 DLC, which is available for €8 USD on Steam. One special thing about this DLC is that it's considered part of the original Season Pass as well as the premium expansion packs, so many of you will be able to enjoy them at no further cost as you already prepaid for them. If you're not sure if you want them or would like them or would even be able to drive them, Reza as always will keep them drivable for free for a couple of days to about a week. With the trucks come also 12 layouts dedicated specifically to them. The physics engine will now use 4 CPU threads instead of the 2 it used until now, which should better the performance of the sim if you have a CPU that can handle that kind of thing, as most modern CPUs do. The single-player options introduced with the 1.6 update now should be available in Championship mode. Penalties for infractions on Formation Lap or rolling starts have been reduced from disqualification to drive-through penalties. Also, the countdown until green in rolling starts has been removed. While there have been some physics developments for this version, they've been small compared with what Reza has delivered other times. These here mostly having to do with tire modeling. Some GT3s should be easier to handle now on default setup, as the rear wing has been increased, force feedback and overall performance should be better now. The pit limiter display was updated for a whole bunch of cars, Check out the description of this video for a link to the whole list, and some other minor changes have been done to a bunch of other cars. Some new balance of performance touches as well as AI developments have been introduced. As an example, AI now got some logic to decide whether to give it another go in qualifying for a fast lap or go to pits and call it a day whenever something goes wrong on the fast lap try. A new menu has been added in the pit strategy repair, making aero and suspension its own option and not just one within mechanical. From now on, the team will focus on the development of endurance racing content, including some new content for all classes and a not further disclosed premium manufacturer. Furthermore, now may be a good time to get into Automobilista 2, as Razer have dropped the prices up to 70% for the sim and the DLCs within the Steam Spring Sale.